All right, there we are. Hi, everybody. I don't know, the ExO Economy Core call. I've lost count somewhere along the way. Really, really happy to have such a great crew here today. And we have a special presentation today by some members of our community. And I just can't wait to hand the microphone right over to them. Who from the team on your side will be presenting today?
I will be Kent. I'm Dale.
Okay. Lovely, Dale. Nice to see you and meet you. I've been looking forward to this for a week, so I can't wait to hear what you've got going today. And remember, we are live, so we're broadcasting this on YouTube. We'll be monitoring if any questions come in along the way from people, and I'll bring those in. I'll proxy those in, and we typically get about as many people watching the show live as we do here in the interactive portion in Zoom. So with that, I think the floor is going to be yours so we can get onto it. Dale.
Okay, great. So let me share my screen. Right, can you see my presentation?
I do.
Great. And well, kia ora, kotu katoa. So I'm Dale, I'm from New Zealand, and I'm excited to talk to you today about getting our community started in New Zealand. So I don't know, how many of you have been to New Zealand on this call?
Not me.
No?
No.
Not me either, unfortunately.
Well, we're really lucky. We are a small advanced economy. It's a very beautiful place. And we're pretty much free of COVID. So we don't have any community transmission, which means we've been going about our lives quite normally, having concerts. So it's been, we've been very, very fortunate. And I'm excited to share with you today this brief presentation, which is, I guess, the first phase of a multi-phased effort to establish a community in New Zealand. So I'm going to share a little bit with you. Now, we are new to the EXO currency, and Kevin's been helping us, and we're going to be, this proposal is looking for 8,000 EXOs to help us do a number of things on this multi-phased effort. Now, we have a problem in New Zealand. We have very disappointing productivity performance, and we want to focus our EXO effort on some real tangible issues that, as they get solved, really helps the prosperity and the livelihoods of every New Zealander. So to get started in this first phase of the project, we really want to look at the application of the EXO model to help us do some things that are needed here. So we talk about the New Zealand paradox, which is that despite being a small advanced economy like Denmark, Finland, Israel, Ireland, our productivity is about 30% less than those countries, which mean our people take home less money, and it really directly affects their livelihood. Now, there are quite a few reasons for that. And what's important is with a small advanced economy, we don't just pick up what happens in big economies and duplicate it. There's some things that are unique, and there's some things that are particularly unique about our market. We're a long way away from international markets. We have a tiny, domestic market, so about 5 million people, and we've tended not to invest in R&D and innovation. Yet we know that would really drive things. So we understand the problems, I think. So which is great, but we've tried lots of things that haven't worked. So we're really interested to explore how the EXO framework might be able to help us in a couple of areas. So one of the things that I'm drawing quite heavily on, and my background is in strategy, and I had the good fortune of working with Professor Kaplan from Harvard and introducing the balanced scorecard here many years ago. And it's quite interesting because we also look to certify people and share knowledge, and so it was a really similar kind of process. And in the last few years, I've been working in open innovation and open talent. And I represent a company called Wazoko, who you may have heard of, and Innocentive. So really, how do we use open talent and things in new ways? Now, in New Zealand, we also have to really think about what's the government thinking and what do we know to be really well understood issues. And recently, a great report came out about frontier firms, and it identified that many of our firms lack what are called dynamic capabilities. And we see those capabilities, I believe, when we're looking at a sprint. So in the EXO terms, we're really wanting to help organisations very quickly sense their environment and sense where there might be new opportunities. And here I want to emphasise the importance of the problem, the question. And so we talk about an MTP, but often framing that as what is the problem we're going to solve, as opposed to the answer. And then how do we seize those opportunities and how do we transform to enable us to really to take advantage of those opportunities and obviously translate that into income for our country. So these dynamic capabilities foster radical innovation and can really push the productivity frontier, which we want to do. But we don't want to wait another 10 years for that to happen. And that's why the exponential way of thinking and way of doing is really important. And so we think it's an ideal model, but we're not 100% sure. Now, we need to be careful. And in New Zealand, you will, like many other countries, we will find resistance. And there's, people will say, well, we've done this before, this flavour of the month, and we don't want that to happen. So we need to be careful that we're not bombarding the market with something that's not really well thought through and focused. And so what we're looking to do in the first phase is have some of us trained. We would like to run some challenges. We would like to engage with some people across the network, particularly those in small advanced economies, so that we can frame the next phases of our initiative. We do think it's important to align with government priorities. We're really super lucky here with our government. It's very accessible. We have a single government for the whole country. And we have, you probably hear, we have a great Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern. So, and they've just, her government's recently been re-elected in. And we need to be able to showcase some examples. So some of our Catherine and my colleagues have already applied the EXO model and got some really good results. So in New Zealand, people want to say, yeah, look, that's fine for somebody in Mexico or someone in the US or someone in London, but we're different. And of course, that's not true. But people will relate more to local examples. And this is just a vision, I guess, for how we see things moving. Now, we've moved just recently with the latest research from our Productivity Commission to thinking about focused policy or focused innovation policy. Now, that's not about backing winners per se, but it is about being selective in terms of the strategic arenas that we might play in, agri-tech or robotics, plant tech. So we're coming off a base, as most people will know, of being very strongly in primary produce, which means most of our exports are high volume, not high value. And we really want to move to be creating highly complex, highly valuable exports is absolutely critical. So we see the potential of organising around a number of MTPs that are focused on specific problems or specific opportunities or issues that exist. I worked extensively with food and beverage sector here in New Zealand, and with a very strong campaign in what we could produce for the Chinese market. Particularly around beneficial foods such as kiwi fruit and honey that had a health value as well as the proven scientific health value. So this is the model that we're seeing, and we want to develop this with our community and mobilize around some shared national level MTPs, which you will know is not easy to do straight off the back. So that's what we want to be preparing for in our first phase. So we're already underway, and Catherine's prepared a website for us, and we're excited to think about how we can work with the global community to energize our community and engage our community here in New Zealand. So I'll stop there and welcome your questions.
Okay,
I just want to make a comment afterwards. First of all, a massive thank you to the two of you for joining the call at, I think, 5 a.m. Or 6 a.m., 5 a.m. So really appreciate that, first of all. I also wanted to just remind everyone that the proposal is in sway. It's actually almost passed, just needs 3 more votes. So people went in there and looked at it before this presentation. Thank you to everybody for that. I have posted the link in the chat here on Zoom as well as on YouTube. So, I mean, that's what I wanted to share. Massive thank you.
So I will say, wonderful. I literally have a list of notes, very long number of things to share with you and to point you to, and resources to talk to you about, and things that might be useful in your journey, especially on the back of having done a number of things that we call fast tracks, which are a modified form of the Sprint for Civic Purposes that help the civic leaders overcome many of the immune system problems. And you were describing a number of fairly typical types of immune system problems that we run into in civic situations. And we've got some great case studies that will help you build your case as you develop your MTPs and move forward. There are a number of people in our network that I think could be useful to you, that you should be connected to. So we should work together to make that list and help broker those connections. I think that's one of the best things that comes from this community, is the connection to all the other people in the community who want to do the same thing. So just make a note that at some point in the next week or two, we should get together, and I'll also be able to mine a few other people for key connections. And I think we can do a lot to help there. A lot from the Open EXO side, myself, Salim, and a few other people as well. It's very interesting. I'm curious to know about your cognitive platform as the concept develops, and how it can work with the Open EXO platform. We have right now it's every other Friday. It's in the morning, Pacific time, the Open EXO Developer Network call. It's fairly new, but this is the place where you want to go to start to learn about the new APIs as they're coming out that would allow any third-party platform to interact with the Open EXO platform programmatically. It's an interface in EXO terminologies to people, and it's an interface quite literally via APIs. Your desire to have examples, again, I think thinking back to some of the case studies we've done, especially in Medellin and Miami, and these are very different places from where you are, but at the same time, a lot of the things you'll face are common. So there may be some things that we can distill out of that will help you as a part of this community make a strong case for the innovation you seek. And then there's a really cool project forming up. It's been in the process for a while. We've made a lot of progress since last November, and it's called EXO Cities. And I'd like to tell you about it at some point so that I can explain to you what's going on there. And it's early for that one too. So maybe these things can grow up together and be friends. I think there's some real benefits to have there. Those are my thoughts. Wonderful. Those are my feedback and reactions, and I'll definitely go vote on your proposal in just a moment. I invite anyone else on the call that can provide constructive or feedback or connections or next steps, anything at all, to Dale and Catherine and team. Please raise your hand or just speak up.
I will say 2 things. So, and before that, thank you for being here, and thank you for being part of the community and presenting your ideas. I think your point about getting certificate to gain credibility is very important, and I'm pro all these things where people is really going after the certification. I think I like that a lot. And then the suggestion I have is, if you haven't done yet, use the circles as well. You can reuse many of the materials in Sway and make a pause on circles, and that way you can get people come to you. So you don't need to go and look for people, they can come to you. So Sway is there and you will get some feedback, but circles, I think you will get more people.
Okay, fabulous, thank you.
I also have a comment. Hello, Dale and Catherine, and thank you for getting up so early. I know it's very early in New Zealand, but I appreciate you being here. And I think it's a very thorough proposal, and I appreciate your vision and also kind of taking things forward in New Zealand. I think it's great. My kind of one thing that I think would help is that I think with the digital, with digital technology, I think one thing that is somehow actually could be a very big benefit to New Zealand is that suddenly the geographical boundaries don't matter so much. And there are actually some examples of companies like Xero, for example, and others that have actually out of New Zealand became very successful global companies very quickly. So I think that it's all somehow, because geographically it is far to go, but actually digitally is not. And I think building your kind of new economy on that kind of insight and really, because digitally you are quite close, right? And physically you're not. I think that could be a very powerful message for kind of the whole campaign and everything, actually almost like bringing New Zealand kind of closer to the world through digital technologies and through these innovation frameworks. I think that could be a nice theme to consider. I have two more points. One more point is around, I appreciate kind of the different industries and verticals and the platform and everything. That said, I think there is maybe a potential danger to do it all locally and not to be integrated in the community. You could build all these things locally with few people, but actually we have invested quite a lot of money to build up a huge global network in 130 countries. And I think a lot of those people would love to collaborate. And I think it could be of benefit to your verticals if you bring in people from outside. So just to kind of, I think it's maybe clear, but just wanting to stress that I love kind of the structure, what you want to build, but I would definitely bring in people from outside New Zealand to help you to do that. And on that note, I would definitely recommend to speak with the Philippines, and we can give you a contact there. And also, obviously, Charlotte is doing similar initiative like you now in Morocco, which might be nice to kind of cross-check. And then actually there is a community member, her name is Corina. She's based out of Chile. And she actually, over the last couple of years, kind of really grew things in Chile, almost kind of where there was nothing at the beginning. And she's been kind of quite active working with a lot of people in Chile, but kind of driving that. And I think she might have some great lessons to learn as well from her. So those could be maybe some support ideas. Otherwise, I have already voted, and I think you might even be close to being approved. That's kind of that's all. But great to have you here, and thank you again for making the time so early.
Yes, thank you. And that's great feedback. And most certainly, when we looking at the communities, the talent, the crowd that surround those key thrusts in terms of where we want to focus in New Zealand. I definitely see that as global, and trying to get people here to use use talent that's other places in the world. So I'm part of Open Assembly, which is also run out of Denver, and very, it's very much around how do we attract the talent to what we want to do here, but also how do we give global visibility to what we have here in New Zealand, because we have some real speciality. I absolutely love the message too around digitally close, and there's a massive kind of digital to grow the tech sector. And we really, I think you've met Rod Snodgrass. He really believes that that's got to be a major thrust. So thank you.
Wonderful. And yeah, I like to say the new geography is time zones. It's not distance, so I'm always time zone lagged anymore, never, including right now, because I was up quite late working with somebody who's in the on their way to Qatar, which is a nutty, that's another big shift from here, but where I am in California. All right, does anyone else want to weigh in and give the team from the New Zealand team any feedback? Okay, I think the presentation was absolutely wonderful, well conceived. You're going to do great. You've got about 7,400 people who want to help. Salim actually just joined in as well, and I sent them the link on YouTube and told him to watch the replay because I know he's done a lot of work in and around New Zealand. And so one of the things that I want you to remember, and I've been saying this a lot lately, and it's so hard to get messages to propagate through a distributed network like OpenExO, but OpenExO itself, the company, the organization is a public benefit corporation, is absolutely standing by to help you, to promote you, and there are a lot of things that we can do to help you there. So many more than we can get into on this call. And then things like the ExO Economy to provide you links into the marketplace that are non-fiat monetary is quite useful sometimes. And I mean, there's so many ways I think that we'll be able to work together, and I'm super happy to have this coming online in New Zealand. Anybody else? Salim, you want to say anything?
I have a couple of quick questions.
Go for it.
So I saw the slides, and I'll go watch it properly. It sounds like you want to create multiple MTPs and build EXOs lined up with those MTPs in New Zealand, right? And my question is, are these country level MTPs? What granularity are you thinking about? And do you have an example?
National, country level. Yes, yes. So the idea is that I guess what our government has been working with is at last starting to take an outside-in view and think about where can we play globally, essentially, and where can we build on our existing capabilities and what problems can we solve. So a good example was with agri-tech and dealing with Western growers in the US and the picking of soft fruit, and that's a small one, but really starting to think about these national level so that we can really focus resources.
Got it. Are you folks familiar with my history in New Zealand?
Well, I know that you've been here, and some of the people that you met when you were here, I know of, but that's all. I don't know anything more, so would be great to hear.
Very quickly, I spent 3 months traveling top to bottom, so backpacking on the TV bus thing. So there's that level. I was back 2-3 years ago, met the mayor of Christchurch, and what's your national research company called? Begins with a C.
It was the Crown Research Institute. Don't know.
It's the government innovation.
Callaghan Innovation.
Callaghan. So I did a bunch of stuff with Callaghan, presenting to them. I think there's an incredible opportunity there to take the basic thinking and use it as a test bed for new ideas, which you can then export globally, right? So, for example, teaching solutions and others. Basically, you could create. I would do some experiments there on what's a new model called lifesteading, which is creating communities of live, work, play environments that are away from poor urban areas, which allow people to kind of have a very wonderful work-life balance. And they running on a UBI type of a model. And so there's some really great experiments to be run, and whoever figures that out becomes instantly an export industry for every other country in the world. So there's some really powerful models, I think, and I'd be happy to explore those with you. Do you guys know Kyla Colden?
Yes, I do.
So Kyla would probably be pretty helpful, although she's very much in the diploma world these days. Yes. But I think if you want to get me on the phone with some of the government officials or whoever you think is relevant, we can create some projects there that are aligned with what you're trying to do, plus what New Zealand's priorities are, and really blow it open. And we have some good case studies around the Ministry of Oceans in Mauritius using the EXO framework to run the entire ministry, which is where the Ocean EXO project has come out of, plus the fast track sprints that we've done and others, which you're probably all familiar with. So happy to support however we can.
Well, that sounds fantastic. And Catherine and I visited with Callaghan just a couple of weeks ago. So we'll definitely be going back there, and I'll follow up with you separately because we'd love your help.
Okay. Cool.
Thank you.
Awesome, perfect. So thanks so much for that. Kent has had to quickly run off for a few moments, so I'll take over facilitation here. Catherine and Dale, if you want to stay for the remainder of the meeting, you absolutely can. If you want to drop off, that's also perfect. What we will do is we'll just go through updates from different folks on the call. So if we can start with Eric and then Nikki.
Thanks, Kevin. Hi, everyone. And thank you again to Dale and Catherine for joining us. It's always exciting to see activity in different countries, especially in a place like New Zealand. So welcome. So just a quick update on my side. I know we're kind of running out of time here. We have a lot of people to get through. Just focusing on some of the documentation with Kent, namely the ExO Economy Business Overview doc, which I believe is at 2.9 now. And the way that stands is some of the folks have been looking at that. Najib, Cesar, and Michael, thanks again for your inputs. I think it's ready to go for a slightly wider audience. So I think maybe one more quick pass at that, and we'll send it out to the wider ExO Economy group for their feedback. And then the second one, of course, is the Exos blockchain technical overview doc, which I think is version 2.2.0. That's also, I believe, in legal right now. I just saw Cesar, thanks for sending over the link with that as well. So, as Kent was talking earlier about prepping for, our eventual public offering, the documentation, of course, needs to be squared away. So that's pretty much where I'm spending most of my time. Other than that, just helping Nikki and Angela out when I can. So thank you.
Awesome.
Awesome. And I didn't even know I had such a wonderful resource until I started working with Eric. So thank you. I appreciate that. We posted our first blog thanks to Catherine Mules. She's a wonderful writer. And so I've got the next one in the pipeline. The topic will be the value of staking. So I'm preparing those documents to get over to her. So thank you, Catherine, for being here today too. And we're working on an intro video for the economy and the value of being in an economy such as this. And we've finally gotten some meat on the bones. And so we're getting that to Ray so he can make it beautiful, and we'll hopefully present that next week. Working on a doubling exercise for the April 8th, third birthday of the token. So we'll be doing some execution of walking the talk and put something together that hopefully will come to conclusion, not just 30 days later, because doubling for 30 days gives us big numbers, but utilizing Salim's birthday as sort of the dedicated voila soiree, if you would, for all the winners on that. Not frightening, not frightening. It's celebrating. And we've got a segment in the February 18th event. We're going to be bringing in a collaborative session, including SU and A360, doing a recap of the A360 event. So that'll be something that's kind of a crossover, mixing networks and collaborating in that way. And then I have an Exo Economy website layout. If you would like to see it, I'm happy to share. And it's not the final, but it is something that I believe, and where did that go, is just an interesting start. Hold on, I gotta make sure I show you the right screen so I don't embarrass myself. There we go. Oh. No, sorry. It's not coming up. So just carry on. I know we're short on time here. I'll show it next week. Thanks so much.
Nikki, one
Yes.
quick question.
Yes.
The team from Rutanio, they read the post. That, by the way, was very good. Congratulations.
Good.
I'd like to see those coming again. And they wonder if it's okay to translate the post to Spanish and reproduce it with the credit. So I just wanted to ask and make sure everything is okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And be sure to use the byline with Catherine Mules as the author. That was a mistake that it got posted without a byline.
That's right.
Okay.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you. Who's next? Angelo.
Yeah, well, good afternoon, everybody. As you know, I've been running an experiment based on the token, and I would like to share you the results for during this time, because the experiment will be up until the end of this week, and we receive a lot of ideas and a lot of participation from the community. And basically, we create some basic question Can you give me feedback? Are you sharing? Are you saying? Yes? Yes. Okay. Well, how we can improve the token in many ways, but we select 5 questions, really useful to connect the token. How we can cultivate global experiences, how we can engage the communities and impact the world, how we can accelerate the process and the closing interaction. I mean, if someone is ready to do any kind of service with another one, how can we do it fast? And the last one is keep a sustainable and vibrant community with better useful possibilities for everyone. And over here you can see the results. Was divided in 5 areas: community participation ideas, usability types, and initiative. I will share the link with you now for you if you want to see it online. Over here.
But by the way, this is awesome.
Yeah, I couldn't share it, but okay, there you go. Over here is the link if you want to see it online on your laptop. But basically, there is a lot of idea. We need to start connecting each other, and also I think we need to define another meeting with the team to select some of the idea, because we cannot do it all at the beginning, but maybe during the process we can start digesting the ideas and processing and try to create it. But we receive a lot of ideas, a lot of them, and basically if you see here, the main topics was community ideas, usability, initiatives, people, and tools. And will be until this week I will be opening, and that's all for this time for the experiment, and we will be working on it. And also with Nikki and Vanessa and Eric, we are talking a lot how we can impact and create several initiatives. There is a lot of connection, there is a lot of communication, and it's working process. And about the English for rural communities areas, I have been building a team for that purpose. I have 2 people in my side, but I will start posting on the marketplace to generate a more useful connection for the purpose, because it's a huge problem too. And that's for one.
That's awesome. I do think you'll have to break that down and find ways to use the power of the community to parallelize, right, the workflows. But fantastic initiative, Angelo, in a very short time. Thank you so much. What have you worked on that for, like a week or something? that's amazing. You're exponential. The let's see. So quickly, Kevin, back over to you. The proposal in Sway, did you guys talk about that yet? Looks like it passed.
The one for...
Yeah, I just got the notification that it's on to the next stage. It's been escalated.
Congratulations. So what happens next there? Yay. Wait, I don't have my applause thing on right now. But yeah, well done and well earned. Some members of the core treasury will be in touch to work with you on the next part of the next steps, so that we can fulfill that obligation now that the core treasury has to you, that your proposal has passed. Okay, we owe you that now. So stay tuned. Actually, I'm not on the treasury, but the treasury will owe you that. Let's see, who's next? I wasn't here for everything.
Vanessa.
You're on mute.
I can't hear you, Vanessa. Uh-oh.
There may be an issue with Vanessa's sound, so maybe we got to say that.
Hear me?
Yes,
there you are.
On my side, Vanessa is there. Go ahead, Vanessa.
Your computer, sorry. I share the stats from the beginning of the month until yesterday on the chat, and I was gonna share a report that I pulled, you could say year to date. that you can access them. I'll just share that. And Catherine, thank you so much for that post. That was beautiful. And I have been sharing it on all the social media channels. It's been doing really, really good. So highly appreciate it. Well, Catherine, amazing presentation. Congratulations on that. Very good job. Anything that I can assist you with that you want me to share on social media, please don't hesitate and let me know. I wanted to let you guys know, I don't know if everybody saw the post where I was doing like a call for those that are still staking on the Civex wallet. I found one, so I'm gonna get that taken care of. I'm gonna help that individual today. So right now there's 3 people still active on the staking on that wallet. So 1 down, 2 to go.
Vanessa, let me know who those people are because they may respond to me more quickly. They're probably my people.
Oh.
And we can do that offline.
Okay. And
they deserve a tip. They're still staking. That's amazing.
I offer 100 Exos tokens. They come and ask for help so we can get them transitioned to the right wallet. So, like I say, 1 down, 2 to go. And what else do I have? Well, nothing. I've been working with Nikki and Angelo and Eric on ideas to for the birthday of the Exo blockchain, and kind of planning something between that date and Saline's birthday in May. So more to come, hopefully soon. And that is all I got for today.
Thank you, Vanessa. Let's keep going. Who hasn't gone yet? Give me.
I can go next.
Okay, great. Thank you, Cesar.
So Michelle, he couldn't make it today, so he asked me to excuse him. But the Divergenti team keep moving forward. They are now preparing the launch of the GitHub, and they're starting to engage to further engage their local community with some token distribution. They look forward also to crystallize the bilateral agreement with the ExO Economy. So that will be, I think that will be an important next step for both ExO Economy and Divergenti. And they are preparing also some new features in their website. So this is the main thing going on their side. They are working on their governance and some other things. I think that's the more important. Then from the Rutanio perspective, 3 priorities for the team. They keep pushing hard on the use cases with all the ambassador, and more use cases are coming there. So that's good. They made an agreement with Sway. So from the learning from what ExO Economy did, so now Sway will be integrated also into the governance for Rutanio, which will bring additional transparency there as it did here. So I think that's very good. And they are also working hard on their governance and the creation of multiple wallets to make sure that they are ready with a fully distributed, no centralized blockchain. So those are the main targets for the team in this quarter. And then from Certifico, maybe the other piece, and Angelo is here. Angelo has been working with Najib, so the certifications for the EXO awards are ready to go. I think Angelo and Najib will be sending those, I guess, to maybe Jaroslav, Nikki for approval. And once those are approved, those can be sent to the winners. And then those will be the first credentials that Certifico will issue within the EXO Economy blockchain that are not tests, that are really, part of a program or something going on. So that's the status on that. And it's ready to go. It's just checking the images, checking everything, and then go and send it. And Angelo and Najib are working on it.
Awesome. Who else hasn't gone yet? Okay. Anybody? Everybody went?
Sure, I can go.
Kent, quickly.
Okay, go for it, Yaroslav.
I'll be brief today. Just many people have already gone. For me, I think the couple of key things to mention about the training and certification in relation to the economy. So one of them is that we are continuing with our strategy of building partnerships. We have a successful one in the Philippines. They actually will run 4 courses this year. Every quarter, they want to run 1 consultant certification. We have now 3 teams working through the Women for Impact cohort. And we also had a great discussion with Nigeria, who want to run their first course in March. And so that's kind of moving forward. That's a way to spread both certification, but also the EXO economy into other countries, because the posting on the marketplace, selecting an advisor is integral part of the certification. And actually, people are really enjoying it, and they've been getting great responses from the community. And it's kind of one of the highlights, actually, of the certification for sure. And the second thing to mention is that we've been experimenting on the coach course. We're actually working with somebody to help to coach the teams that are preparing for a disruption. And that somebody is a past participant, and he's being paid in Exos. And kind of we are working with him in that capacity. And we also have a small budget to bring in additional people to enhance the cohort using Exos as well. So that's kind of been on there. Those are my 2 updates.
Fantastic. Who else is out there?
Just from my side, the only thing to mention around the community and the economy is the Exo Prize, which will get properly underway next week. As we said at the beginning of the call, a lot of things moving, and of course, the coaches, the participants are getting Exos. The prize money will all be in Exos as well, which is really cool.
That is amazing. Lots and lots of activity picking up. So, Nikki, I'm hoping you're seeing all these use cases fly by and thinking of all the awesome stuff we could share. I'll go super fast. Proxying in for technology operations, that's Najib. They've just released a new revision of the wallet. I believe it was 1.0.8. This was fixing a specific set of bugs, and then the next release, 1.0.9, is going to be a mandatory upgrade for everybody that's in the beta testing for the new EXO Core wallet. So if you haven't installed it yet, why don't you just wait until 1.0.9? If you have installed it, there's going to be a little bit of a detailed installation procedure, because there was a pretty nasty bug we found. That's what testing's for, so it's totally okay. And nobody's tokens are at risk, even if you're holding them or staking them in the Core wallet. They're always safe on the chain, so don't worry. I always like to make sure everybody understands that. So stay tuned for that information, and we'll get that disseminated around. And I have asked the team if we can start to expand the beta testing quite a bit, moving it on to a lot more people, frankly, because it really is time, and it dovetails really well with some of the work Nikki's doing. I hope to bring some new team members into this group for the next call. I'm speaking with them, and I'm really excited about some of their capabilities that are going to help the economy grow. And I can't really say much more about it right now. I have to finish what the thinking and talking to them. But I just want to let you all know that there's a lot of very specific interest in what we're doing here. And we're also seeing a lot of uptick in the marketplace. For the first time ever, by the way, I downloaded all of the marketplace transaction data for all of, well, I just stuck to 2020 in this case. And I just wanted to let everybody here know that there were about 250,000 Exos worth of transactions on the marketplace in 2020. And I have asked the team to provide me that update on a quarterly basis for now. So I'll have another update for
Wait. Can you just repeat that? We had 250,000 transactions in 2020?
In Exos, yeah. and 50,000 US dollars. And this is just what we know about Salim. We know, for example, that like 8 sprints are running around the world right now, and many of them might or might not be using Exos, might or might not be using the marketplace. We have a lot of work to do to get the teams to around the world to leverage these capabilities. But yes, I was extremely pleased when I finally saw those numbers for the first time. Okay, so first time I got that data Monday. So yeah, incredible. Let's see. I think those are my key updates today. Who else hasn't gone?
I can hop in. Be brief.
Go for it.
So last week we presented on sway and planning and how we can make the best impression with the proposals, and Dale, nicely done on the planning. I was able to review that. That's what we're really hoping for when we use the governance as time and operations. If you didn't take that away from the meeting last time, I think, Nikki, you gave me the feedback of like, yeah, I just didn't relate to it. I didn't follow along. So we're really hoping to bring some planning and more exposure into the proposal process. And if you guys are open to helping us bring some impact projects to life where we make some lives better, we did a rollout of planning in Exos on Smart Founders, and we'd really appreciate us being able to more effectively in the community launch these projects with good planning and clear, transparent stuff for the Treasury. So Kent, I'd love to know what that process looks like, or someone from the Treasury, so we can make sure that that's a really smooth, very easy process where all that's provided ahead of time, even before proposals. Like those are boxes that are checked off for the Treasury before it even hits the proposal process. So idea into planning into proposal, and I think Dale just knocked it out of the park with that, guys. So this is fantastic. Cheers.
That's great. Thank you for that. And I think your best next step is to coordinate probably with Eric, so he can start to kind of help pull all the different pieces together from a project coordination role that might be necessary to continue improving. So yeah, that's what I would suggest. I've seen other areas of projects in our world that are not using some of the tools we're using. You know what? It's not required, but I'm not so sure why. So Kevin, you know, you're here and you're in one of the admins in Sway as well. So perhaps there's some things that can be useful in your projects over there that you're doing. And let's see. I think, is that everybody? Last call? Okay. So the last thing to do in this call today is, does anybody have anything that's blocking them, holding them up? You just need to make an announcement on topic, of course, if preferably. Anybody got anything that you need so we can get you to next steps?
I had to say something related to the ExO Community Award. They asked me about the date for the next Tuesday. They will show us the data.
Yes, they're booked already.
Okay,
yep,
cool.
They are booked for next Tuesday. They'll take the first third of the call, similar to the way that the New Zealand team did today.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, yeah, just give them the guidance to aim for about 15 minutes, and it's okay if it goes over a little. It was an amazing discussion this morning about New Zealand, so it's fantastic. Don't feel guilty. But yeah, thank you for that, Angela. All right, well, that's it then. If anybody needs anything in the interim, we have many ways to connect. You can always just WhatsApp somebody if you're connected to them that way. The circles, we do have an ExO Economy circle on the platform specifically for in-between meeting discussions for asynchronous communications. So anybody you see here can be really reached through the community, through the DM function that's on the platform. I just want to make sure everybody knows that you're super connected here. And if you just can't find who you're looking for some reason that was here, that said something, you know, ping Eric, myself, Nikki, Kevin. We will help you find what you need. And there are new people coming on every week. So very exciting. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your day wherever you are.
Bye. Everyone, cheers.
Thanks, folks.
Bye, guys.